Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today I'm joined by my partner at Del Rey Watch Supply, John. How are you, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Chilling. Today we're going to talk about, I'm going to come up with three things. He's going to come up with three things. Three things we hate that luxury watches occasionally have. Three features, three quirks that have no place in a luxury watch as far as we're concerned. And by the way, guys, go check out John's channel. He focuses a little bit more on Rolex than I do, and a lot more.
Just a little bit more.
And a little bit more on vintage. That's John P. Link in the description below. And also, guys, before we get started, check out Del Rey Watch.
DelReyWatch.com.
Quickly, Tudor Black Bay Black Bezel just came in. An Omega Silver Snoopy Speedmaster, best price on earth for an unworn one.
You're giving that away.
And a Dunhill Facet watch, a very quirky watch that houses a JLC manual wind reverso movement. All on DelReyWatch.com, a link in the description below. Anyway, John, actually, I'm also wearing my Breguet Marine. People want to know what we're wearing. I'm wearing a Breguet Marine. You just bought this watch.
I just got a new Gerald Genta new old stock with the Mickey Mouse dial on this.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It came up. It was cool. It was fun.
Came up in a random dealer chat, right?
Yes.
You just bought it for yourself?
I like it. It's fun. Got it on the red strap. It matches.
You're going to have to send me a picture of that so I can put it in the video.
Awesome.
All right. So basically, yeah, I'm going to come up with three things that just bug me that occasionally come up with in luxury watches. John's going to do the same. These are in no particular order, but I guess my first one is the one that annoys me the most, and that is a loose crown setting. What does that mean?
A loose crown setting.
So, like, a great example is on the Cartier Calibre, right?
Yes.
You pull out the crown. It's a non-screw down crown. You pull it out, you set the time, and then, of course, when you're done, you push it back in so the watch is no longer hacking. This occasionally happens with luxury watches. Not, very few of them, but this one's a great example. I pull it out, I set the time, and when I push it back in, the crown is so finicky that the minute hand will move by a minute or two, or if I do it very hard, it'll move by 3 or 4 minutes, which throws off the whole time setting process.
You have to be very subtle about pushing it back in.
Yeah, because any little twist and like the gear ratio just throws the minute hand, and I gotta set the damn thing 3 or 4 times for me to actually tell the time, and I'm spending 6G so I can tell the time, so what's the point? I'm sorry.
You can have Cartier on your wrist, I guess, right?
I mean, not all Cartiers do it and actually do like the Calibre, but it's just, and it's a very accurate watch. It's annoying, finicky watch to set. I can't set it quickly because it throws everything out of whack. It's annoying as hell.
That's unbelievable. Well,
What do you got?
This first one, I think you're going to agree. This is
Yeah.
proprietary straps. A lot of brands now have started to go into quick chain straps and other straps that are a little bit more universal. But there was a period of time, especially with brands like Cartier, go figure.
Cartier.
But
Gerard Perregaux.
even Audemars Piguet, I mean, you know the watch, especially the integrated design. Proprietary straps, but everyone loves to swap their straps.
I think Oris is like the biggest pain in the butt with this. Like every Aquis line has that like male female lug thing that like is just a pain in the butt.
It's tough for the guys that like to swap out their straps.
And as
for
a
sure.
Panerai lover, I love swapping out my straps. You know, because Panerai is like the original strap monster watch. But yeah, I agree with you. It's annoying. Here's one that is borderline criminal.
Borderline criminal.
And that is perpetual calendars
Yes.
that can't go backwards.
Don't tell that to Hans.
Hans will just, his head will explode. So what is this? It's a perpetual calendar that you're setting the date, and they have like a year attached to it. And if you go too far forward, like if it's today's April, I don't know, what day is it today? Like May 4th, May 5th?
May 4th,
May 4th.
2022.
And let's say
It's hard to keep track.
I'm trying to set the time, and I put the month June. And normally you'd say just go all the way around. But if you go all the way around, the year indicator goes up. So you have two options. Get this. You either don't wear the watch until June.
And don't move it.
You wait for the date to catch up, and then you set it again. God forbid you make the mistake twice. Or you send it to the manufacturer for God knows how much money, a couple grand, for them to take off the dial and set the date for you. The biggest offender here is IWC. You know, their perpetual calendars that can be set entirely through the crown. God forbid you go past the date, you owe IWC 2Gs.
Like we've had them in stock before.
Yeah.
I think the Novecento Perpetual.
The Novecento Perpetual, the Da Vinci Perpetual, the Portuguese Perpetual, the big pilot. It's such a stupid mechanism. I mean, yes, all through the crown, but it's so stupid. I mean, come on.
Well, who sets the perpetual calendars?
Oh no, I'm just gonna spend $40,000 and not set it.
Well, not a Delray watch. $8,000.
It's well, yeah, pre-owned, baby, pre-owned.
Awesome.
But yeah, that's annoying for me. But what else you got?
Another complication, or not really complication, but really a nuance, would be the phantom date wheels. Right, a watch maker will take a movement that still has the date wheel mechanism intact with that crown and stem, and they'll leave that position in there, but there's no date on the watch. So you pull out the crown, and there's still a position there
So
where
it's
you're
like you buy a
changing the
watch
date.
with like a 28, 24.
Yes.
And like it's a no date watch, and you go pull out the crown, and it still has two positions.
And you can hear it changing the date, but there's no date window on the watch. And so many brands have done this.
It's because it's the ultimate cost cutting. It's cheaper to like cover the date wheel than it is to modify the movement and remove the calendar mechanism. It is kind of, I mean, it's cost cutting. In like in a luxury product, you know, 2824 could be had in any watch from like $300 up until $5,000. So, you know, anything over $1,000 should have that date position.
Micro brands are very guilty of this right now. I haven't seen a major brand do this in a while, but micro brands do this today.
They do, and depending on the price point of the watch, it's totally inexcusable. I agree. Now we're going to get into something that's a little bit more complicated, my third one. But it's something that's annoying because it's cost us and me a ton of money. And it's something that I wish Hans was available to explain it, because I'm going to butcher this. But it's basically any vertical clutch chronograph. Now, what do you mean? Vertical clutches are so high-end. You know, it's a... Okay, well... It's not every vertical clutch chronograph that has this problem, but a lot of them do. What does that mean? There's a clutch on the chronograph wheel, the center chronograph wheel, and on the pinion. And basically, when you start the chronograph, the releases and the chronograph runs. Believe it or not, that is putting less stress on the movement with the chronograph running because the clutch is released. But then when you turn off the chronograph, the clutch engages, and it's putting stress on that clutch wheel. Whereas like a Valjoux 7750 is not vertical clutch. So that is more stressed out when the chronograph is running, which is the way it should be. But the vertical clutch is backwards. So what does that mean? When we buy a vertical clutch chronograph, or if we own one and we want to have it serviced, yes, it's going to be expensive because chronographs are expensive to service. But a wear item on a movement is usually a mainspring or a barrel. Here, that vertical clutch is a wear item because the clutch wears out because it's the
being used.
It's always being used, especially if the chronograph's not running. And like you want to go buy a vertical clutch wheel for like a Frédéric Piguet, which is a high-end movement, but it's a generic movement. It's used in Blancpain, Breguet. It's used in a ton of Swatch Group movements. That little clutch wheel, first of all, you have to get it on eBay. It's going to be like $700. It's a part the size of like my pinky nail.
Yes.
And like it costs as much as the service itself.
And it will wear, right? Because it's consumable. It's being worn away at all times. If you're using the watch, it's wearing away.
On Frédéric Piguet specifically, which is a beautiful movement, I'd say if the watch is over 5 years old, we need to replace that clutch wheel.
Is this the one part that we always have the issue with in our service center on that Omega Seamaster chronograph?
On the Omega Seamaster chronograph, on...
That one reference.
The Vacheron Overseas chrono, the Breguet chrono, they all like share the same thing. And like it goes to the point where we really like don't want to buy them unless it's inexpensive, because if I have to replace that part, not only do I have to spend $700 just for the part and then pay for service, but then I also have to go out there and hunt the part.
And we have to warranty it.
You think I can just call like Swatch Group and be like, I need a vertical clutch? You know, they're like, no, I gotta go hunt the part. It's really a stupid thing. Breitling B01, same issue. Yeah, vertical clutch chronos. I mean, elegant movements, very smooth, but just a pain in the butt when it comes time to fix them.
Got it.
Sorry for the rant.
It's interesting, right? So my last one here, something that I think more brands need to change and stop doing this on their watches, and most have, but not all, is pin bracelets to remove and add links. The Patek Philippe Nautilus has been guilty of this. Endless watches. This is an old technology for bracelet resizing. Everyone has screwdrivers.
We just had to resize a Grand Seiko. Not all Grand Seikos use pins. This was like a Grand Seiko sports collection, the Quartz GMT. And like I just hear like a hammer in the other room, and I'm like, "Why? Who's using a hammer?" I go in, and Hans is using to hammer out the links, and I'm like, "Dude, people still do that."
We don't see this too often anymore. But when a Nautilus wasn't as expensive as it is today, you'd have someone with a little hammer and a little like tweezers, like banging on their Nautilus, trying to take links out because they didn't want to go to the jewelry store.
It's such a stupid mechanism.
And leave it to a watch collector to want to take on that project, right? I'm going to resize my Nautilus. Let me just pull out my hardware store hammer and do this. Put a screw in there, right?
Like, yeah, brands spend an extra, like, I don't know, $50 a bracelet and put some threads in the links and get some screws. I think pin bracelets are annoying, antiquated, and personally just not as safe. And their only purpose is to cut cost, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know how much they cost, but I imagine it's cheaper.
It's got to be the same price.
I mean, it's just, in which case it's just stupid, right? It's just stupid.
It's silly.
But yeah, guys, 6 things that we absolutely detest when they show up in luxury watches. These items, these features, these whatever you want to call it, just things that should be fixed, in my opinion. If we're spending good money on a watch, I don't think these are excusable, right? Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to John P's channel, link in the description below. Check out delraywatch.com. Like and subscribe to Federico Talks Watches. I'm sure you already have because you're good people. And we'll catch you in the next one. Take care.
Thank you.